Today I'm going to teach you step by step how to watercolor poppies for beginners, or if you just want to learn in general. So you're going to need a jar of water, a paper towel, a paintbrush, some watercolor paints, and watercolor paper. The exact supplies I'm using I'll link below for you guys, but let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to start off with mixing your colors. You can do whatever colors you want for these poppy flowers. I'm going to do a pink and purple color palette for my flowers, and then I'm going to try and make a more natural green color. And a little tip to make a more natural green color is take the greens you have on your palette, but then also add black or brown or purple to them to get different tones of green that look more natural than just the not very natural that usually comes in your watercolor palette. So once you have mixed up all of your colors and you're ready to go, then we can go ahead and start painting. So get your color for your flower, and for this first one, it's really just best to watch watercoloring, I feel like, to learn how to watercolor. That's personally how I learned. I just watched many videos over and over, and then you just try and practice those steps. But I'll do my best to explain these strokes that I'm doing with this brush. So I'm just kind of making an upside down U shape and pushing the belly of the brush to make these petal shapes, and then I go back in with a little bit more pigment on my brush and tap it in to get those darker spots that make it look watercolored and realistic and hand painted. So that's how you do these flowers. It takes lots and lots of practice, so don't get frustrated if you don't get it on your first try. Just keep trying and drop in that color to make it look more realistic and not just all one shade. So I'm just going to tap in the darker color in different spots to give it that different look and like some dimension and shadow, just like that. So that is how I'm going to do the first flower, and then I'm just going to take an even bit of a darker shade once it has started to dry a little bit, just to give it even more of a shadow and more of a watercolored look. I really like that when you can tell that it's watercolor, but that is kind of a little bit probably of like a personal preference. So wash out your brush, and then you can go ahead, dab it on your paper towel, and get your next color. And for this flower, I'm going to try and make it look a little bit like it's going to the side. So I'm going to push the belly of my brush to make those petal shapes again, and then I'm just doing 2 petals right here, as you can see. Then you're going to get some more color, and here I'm kind of making a half petal shape, so I didn't bring the petal all the way out, I'm just doing more of a half. And then I'm doing another petal right here just to kind of make it look like it's hugged up against this flower. And then I'm doing another petal right here, and it's a little bit shorter, and another kind of little half petal shape to try and give that look that it's a little bit like on top of this flower. And that's also why I'm doing the darker color for this flower and not the one beneath it. So then I'm doing the same thing where I just repeat dropping in the darker shade to give it some shadow and texture and make it look hand painted. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the flower steps. Remember, keep practicing, don't give up, rinse out your brush. You never want to leave your paint in your brush. But now we're going to move on to the leaves. For this, I like to do a light stroke for the little branch of the leaf, and then I like to use the belly of the brush to give some pressure on it, and then it will make a little bit more of a leaf shape. So light pressure, heavy pressure, and then light pressure again to give that natural kind of leaf look. And then I like to drop in the color just like I did with the flowers, so that it's not all one shade for the leaf and that you can tell it's painted. I personally really like how that looks, as you can probably tell if you're still watching this video, because I say that a lot, but that's just kind of my style of painting. So you can obviously do whatever you want, but I like adding that hand painted and watercolor feel. So I'm going to continue that, and I'm putting these leaves all over the card. So light pressure, heavy pressure, and then light pressure again, and then just drop in your color. And I like to kind of put it where I think the leaves would go, or where they would fall kind of into the little flowers. And I'm going to leave a white section at the bottom of this paper because I will be turning this into a greeting card. I'll show you the finished look of the greeting card afterwards, so make sure to stay till the end of the video to see that. And if you want to see a still picture of this card or how it turned out, you can go over to my Instagram at simplyluluscards, and I'll put that link in the description box too if you want to check that out. Now we're going to move on to the final step of these flowers. Just grab grab some black watercolor paint and make an oval shape, and you're gonna add your center. So I like to fill it in. I like to make sure that this paint is like very saturated, so I'm gonna do that on either flower, and then I make these little lines going off of the little circle part there in the center for the stem. I like to make them like little short spiky lines just to add some texture to the flower, and that's about it. So I really hope you learned how to watercolor this flower and you enjoyed it, and remember to keep practicing and don't give up. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and share this video with anyone who you think would enjoy it as well, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.